welcome to NAMM 2016. Today we are talking about Liberty Drums, the British boutique company that is celebrating their 10th year. As you can see, it's very, very loud, so I'm going to cut to Mike for a bit more of a quieter interview.
Andrew, thank you for joining us. We've had a look around the booth.
Welcome.
You're in your 10th year. It's your 10th year anniversary. You have all your hair still. Tell me a little bit about the company and the history behind the company.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I'm really happy to be here in 10 years. This is our 10th year, and really excited to announce that. We've gone through a lot of tough times in the industry, where the economy, and we managed to innovate our way through, and that's because we've been pretty much a boutique orientated company, starting from the garage at home. We're making new snare drums, learning the craft skills to make a snare drum, and then that moved on to drum kits, then moving into bigger premises, and then where the orders were coming in more than family and friends, it was recommendations, and it just grew, and then 10 years down the line, we're in a 4,000 square feet factory.
Yeah, it's your third factory, is that correct?
We're now fourth.
Oh, you're in your fourth?
Yeah,
now?
number 4.
Okay. And how many people make these drums?
There's 3 of us in the factory who are actively making. There are other admin roles, but there's 3 of us. There's 2 master builders. There's myself and there's Kevin, which everybody will know. Yeah. Both very busy master builders, but myself, I find myself more and more as the boss man, as you do, wearing many hats, doing a bit of everything. And then we have young trainees starting in the factory as well, so we're learning that process as well in terms of training and skilling up the young people for employment.
Obviously you're a drummer, but your background wasn't drum building, you were IT.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and at the beginning when I first met you, you were maintaining an IT job and trying to do that.
Yeah.
How difficult was that?
Well, firstly, I'd like to say anything's possible, but as long as you're passionate about it, you'll get through it. And it was difficult, it wasn't easy. Wife and 2 kids, travelling away, working and coming late at night and building drums by night, early morning, and that sort of thing, and just reacting that way for many years. The passion, brought me through. I had a goal and a vision, and I knew where it needed to go. You just got to keep on going, and then eventually the hobby became full-time business.
You've got to plant the acorn to grow the tree. Yeah.
Exactly. You plant the seed and just run with it and just keep going. And whatever you do, just don't stop.
Do you feel that the company, are you looking at major growth over the next 10 years, or are you quite contented with where your positioning is now? I
think our growth is going to be quite controlled. We don't want to get too big, because every drum's special and unique. So we would have a limit to. We'll hold a limit of how many drum kits and snare drums we would do in a particular year. Right. So currently, the capacity would be, say, 50 special drum kits and 250 to 300 snare drums we would comfortably do. And I think keeping those small numbers keeps everything, keeps the value, keeps the uniqueness. Because the concern is to water down your brand by doing too many things.
So the kit that we're looking at now, the kit on the main part of the stand, you've got obviously the bebop kit, but the main kit, how long did it take you to put that kit together and make?
Well, this particular kit actually took about 2 weeks to make, from the raw veneer, pressed, formed, lacquered, and to the finished product. 2 weeks. I mean, that is a pretty quick turnaround, but we do allow 4 to 6 weeks normally for
we're not talking about
an average
6
build.
months, we're talking about 4 to 6 weeks.
We're talking weeks.
Wow.
And because the way we're set up is, the processes are there in place to keep the window short, because people don't want to put an order in and we have to wait 3 to 6 months, on average, which it's generally that can be quite common in the industry.
But if I buy that drum kit today, and in a year's time or 2 years' time, I want to add some add-on toms or a different bass drum size, can I do that?
Absolutely.
And you can match it?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Any size, any tom, we'll match it. Everything's logged down. We have the specs, formation, ply type, orientation. Rather than trying to remember, how did we do that? But we know.
I know that, for example, we've discussed it before about the heritage of British music, British drums, worldwide, which is very popular over here in the UK, in the US. Why are some of our UK drum stores stocking US drum companies, boutique drum companies, when we've got things on their doorstep? I mean, it doesn't quite make sense.
It does make sense to me sometimes, because we're on the doorstep and we're manufacturing a product and it's selling overseas, and the retailers are buying from overseas and selling in the UK shops. And it's we're Liberty Drums. We're classed as the world's best pro drum snare drum maker by a national magazine. I'm saying Rhythm magazine awarded us #1 in the world in November 2015 for best pro wood snare drum maker. So that's it's a good advertisement to put out there, and we're English, and we can provide a good service on our own doorstep, which I think is key. Individual sales is where the business has always been. We've been all reactive and organic with it, and gone where the interests are, just reacted to the interest which has come from individuals and maybe not retailers. In fact, we haven't really targeted many retailers.
Well, let's talk about that right there. So why do you find, and you're not the only one, but why do boutique drum companies, why are you not retailers taking the product on in their shops?
I think it's on their side is product confidence. So as boutique drum companies, we know the best way around it is for the drummers, the workhorse guys out there using the brand and getting it out there and growing it that way, and then to get the confidence of the industry.
So
really.
The margins are correct for the shops?
Yeah, absolutely. They're fantastic.
You just feel that. Now, interestingly enough, I spoke to another major drum company out here, the managing director of one of the companies, and he said there's 50 drum companies competing.
Right.
For and that's all the big guys, competing for that market share, if you like. And obviously, you can only stock X amount of drums in there. I would have thought for a company like yourself, a boutique drum company, that's an advantage because you're giving something unique.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what would you say to a store that was thinking about stocking your drums?
Right.
Why should they stock your drums?
Well, those drums are special and unique, and these are instruments that are sought after, and they're built for purpose. They're drums that inspire and enhance, and literally, the way we make the drums, they create an emotional response. And I think that's what people look for, and retailers look for people when they play a product, and a musician's response when they play a drum kit. The expression that the drummer will put on his face when he hits the bass drum, that's the feeling that they generally get. And that's generally the emotional response, and if you get that, then it's a good product.
Where do you see Liberty in 10 years' time?
I see 10 years' time, still a boutique.
You've got no big plans to...
No, I think you can go too big, and I think we found our niche in the market as if we were as a boutique company, and to keep our drums special and unique, we would grow to a certain size and keep that structure. I think that's key, that's important for us, rather than to go watered down corporate size. So in effect, if a certain drum shop has a Liberty kit in it, that shop will be a go-to. Hey, we've got a Liberty kit in such and such a city. So people will go to that shop just to see the Liberty drum kit, rather than having a drum kit in every music shop going. And I think that's quite key, certainly for us.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the British drum, not only music, but in the drum world, has got a big history and a big heritage. Other major drum brands in the UK haven't been able to survive. Do you feel that there's a market for Americans because it is a British drum company?
Absolutely. Americans like British craftsmanship and manufacture, I think purely for the manufacturing quality and the heritage that we have in the manufacturing industry, because we've got a lot of heritage and history in manufacturing throughout all industries in the UK, and I think that stands well for the Britishness.
And obviously from the northeast, which is where you are, there's some amazing craftsmen, not in the drum world, but in general up there.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, I want to change subject slightly. I want to talk about the badge. Okay, so the badge, tell us a little bit about that badge design.
Well, the badge had to represent what we are and what we do. So it's a combination of ornate, it's an ornate badge, but in the badge there's a message to build and excel and to inspire and enhance, and that's exactly what our drums do.
I mean, it's quality. You really do go to work on quality all the way through the drums. I mean, obviously people see the shell and they hit it and they hear the drum, but you've gone to real detail to get the lugs right, as you were talking about, the badge.
It's an interesting question,
That's important to you, is it?
It is. It's an interesting thing, because people would ask, what makes a good drum? Well, it's everything that makes a good drum, and it's the small detail from A to Z. It's the timber type. It's the gluing of the timber, the cutting, the lacquer, the edges, the lugs, the heads, the hoops. Everything goes together and makes that product. And if it's all good, it's like baking. You get out what you put into it. You know, all the good ingredients, and that's what makes a good drum.